This steel Stadt is a solidly built 30-foot sloop. It was built in South Africa, sailed to North America, then Central America, and from there across the Pacific and has spent time on Australia's east coast. It comes with 2 plough anchors, 1 sand anchor. It comes with a manual winch, a life raft, sail covers. The head sail has a furler with all the lines leading back to the cockpit. The mast has a deck light. It has steps for climbing the mast for single-handers, and all the lines lead back to the cockpit past the boom fang. There are 6 self-tailing winches around the cockpit, and the cockpit is a generous size. At the stern of the cockpit are the davits. There's a 4-person hard-bottomed Aqua Pro dinghy. Attached is a 2 horsepower 4-stroke Honda. Then there's the electronics cluster, which includes the GPS receiver, the radar detector, and also the TV antenna. Then there's the wind generator, a 35-watt solar panel, twin LPG 9 kilo tanks, a hard dodger upon which an 80-watt solar panel sits. Then there's the 18 horsepower Yanmar diesel engine with primary and secondary fuel filters with the water filter, and a charging system which looks after 2 100 amp house batteries and a separate starter battery as well. Charging for both these batteries can be regulated. Then we move on to the port side, where there is accommodation for sleeping, and then the galley area. There is a 2-burner stove top and oven, a sink with salt and fresh water, the fresh water being controlled by a foot pump, a primary bilge pump with a secondary bilge pump in the cockpit, a 12 volt and 240 volt Waco fridge freezer. The main cabin has 2 bench seats which can convert to 2 single beds. There is more accommodation in the bow, and under the cushions are sails and life jackets. As you move back into the main cabin, there is a lot more equipment underneath the bench seats. The head is contained on the starboard side of the boat, and it's a manual levac with a holding tank. Above the chart table is the fuse panel, the VHF radio, the marine radar detector system, the Garmin GPS, the single sideband radio, which is good for communications and weather, the wind generator on-off switch. Then we move on to the engine control panel, the auto helm tiller attachment, various wind and depth instruments, the Navman chart plotter, and then there are additional items on the boat as well. In the fuel locker there are spare fuel tanks and associated items. In the rear locker there is plenty of room with spare ropes and miscellaneous items again. The handholds are solid, and there's a bracket for attaching an outboard to the back of the boat should the need arise.